Hey there, Brett here with Quarter Properties, your Myrtle Beach area real estate expert. Hope you are having a great summer. I know we are here on the Grand Strand. Today I wanted to hop on here and just chat with you a little bit, really just vulnerable, just got to being open with you, letting you know how challenging real estate can be sometimes. As much as we try to prepare and make sure everything goes smooth, sometimes things can snowball and kind of go in directions you don't expect. So it can be interesting. And yesterday we had 4 different closings going on, and I'm telling you, everything that you could imagine could happen kind of went on with these closings. And so I kind of wanted to go through them just to give you an idea and some insight into some of the things that can happen, might happen, hopefully won't happen, but do happen. And, these are some of the reasons why, a lot of people say I look 50 years old, even though I'm really only 24 years old. Just kidding. I'm about to turn 50 in a few weeks. So, but it can definitely age you for sure. So yesterday we had 4 closings going on. To give you an idea, one of them, we represented the buyer. They were supposed to close a couple weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago. They actually had a medical emergency. They had emergency surgery that no one could have expected. Then they were kind of housebound. They were not really allowed to move anything, weren't really allowed to travel. So this kind of put a situation in place where they were not able to get here and close. They had a house in a different state they were selling. They had a house here that they were buying, and then that seller had a house that they were buying. So it was really just a big domino effect, and all due to something that no one really could have prevented. Another situation that we had going on, we had an attorney firm that literally just forgot to get a document. They had requested it early on in the process from the HOA. Then they were getting ready to mail the packet out to the buyer, and oops, realized that document, even though they requested it early on, it should have come in. It never came in. That delayed the closing by, I think, 5 or 6 days. Now listen, you may not think that's a big deal, but when you've got a closing going on and another closing that's relying on that, and another closing relying on that in different towns and different states, it can get very interesting real quick. So again, that's something where really no one could have expected that, but it happened. We had another one where literally a home was vandalized. We were supposed to close yesterday on it, and a vacant home was vandalized 3 days before closing. They got there to do their final walkthrough, and appliances are missing, front doors rammed in, just damaged siding, just different things like that. Again, something no one could have really expected. But how do you adjust? How do you get things taken care of and get moved forward and get to closing? And another one was a situation where an HOA had sent in a document with the funds the seller had already paid. It was inaccurate, and the seller luckily caught it on the settlement statement, but because it was inaccurate, have to request a new one. That delays closing. Again, something that in a third party no one could really control. Again, something that kind of pops up, even though everyone's doing what they can to make sure things move forward in a timely manner, and you get closed on your closing date, something pops up. So these are just some insight into some things that can potentially pop up and go wrong and do go wrong. Okay. And there are some big things that this can affect whenever things like this happen. One of the things is buyers will have interest rate locks for a certain amount of time. Let's say it's a 30-day lock, and then it's going to push closing past their lock date. Then they're going to have to pay an extension on that. So that could be something that is impacted. You could have, one of the big things is movers. This happened in a couple situations with these, where we've got the buyers and sellers, they've got scheduled movers that are contracted to come in on a certain date. Listen, they cannot just change their date on the fly, especially in the summertime. Okay, so there's been big impacts with the scheduled movers. All right, because the movers are picking up their stuff and then they're taking it to another house on the same day. Well, if they can't get closed on this house and they can't get closed on the next house, then what are the movers going to do, right? And then the biggest thing that can be impacted is that next closing, right? So if you're closing on a house here, and then that's closing on a house there, and then that person who's selling you that home, they may be closing on a house somewhere else within the next day or so. So all of these things can get impacted, and that's where it can get stressful and emotional. And I promise, I feel it. I feel it with every one of the buyers and sellers where things can pop up, and it creates high stress, high emotions, and I'm right there. I feel it with them, and it can get challenging. And that's where I just wanted to, kind of put out there too, that the people that I'm thankful for in these times when things do go a little bit sideways in the short term. We've got a dedicated closing coordinator that helps to minimize any of this, helps manage all of our closings. So basically, I will help folks all the way up through the contract. I don't disappear once we go under contract, but we have a dedicated closing coordinator that steps in and helps to assist with the closing process to make sure that all of these types of circumstances could potentially be minimized. And when something does pop up, they help see us through. The experienced team, also thankful for experienced team of like lenders, the closing attorneys, brokers that we're working with on the other side that are experienced and focused on solving the problem. Okay, that's the main thing. You got to be focused on solving the problem. The problem happened. Now we got to focus on solving it. What can we do to move forward? And then also, most importantly, thankful to the buyers and sellers who were able to keep calm and focus on the end goal. And the end goal is getting the house sold or getting the house purchased, and kind of managing those emotions, keeping calm and focusing on the end goal. What do we want to get done ultimately, and what do we got to do to get there? So that's just some insight into what can happen, what might happen, what it could impact, and who I'm thankful for in helping us get all of those deals to the closing line, and ultimately helping buyers and sellers get their goal accomplished. Okay. All right. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in buying and selling in the Myrtle Beach area and you just want to chat, my phone number and my email are right there. If you are looking, just want to browse, look at homes, I've got a link there for that. The easiest way to shop Myrtle Beach area real estate. Thinking about selling your home, there's a link there for to keep up with your home values. And we will be talking to you soon.